When Tamar Braxton first revealed what had happened to her, the internet went into a frenzy. The award-winning singer and reality star posted that she had woken up one morning in what she described as a pool of her own blood. Immediately, fans' imaginations ran wild. Tamar wasn't talking about a small cut or a minor accident. She said she had lost several teeth, her nose was fractured, and she was left feeling weak and disoriented. For someone with such a high-profile life, these kinds of words sparked instant panic and an avalanche of questions. How does a person wake up injured that badly without remembering what happened? Was she attacked? Was there an accident the public didn't know about? Or was this something much darker? Tamar's post didn't provide much clarity, only leaving her followers desperate for answers. Social media timelines quickly filled with speculation. Some sent heartfelt prayers, while others raised eyebrows, wondering how such a dramatic situation could happen in silence. The shocking part wasn't just the injuries, it was the mystery. Usually, when celebrities face health scares, the narrative is clear: there's an incident, a hospital visit, and then an update. But Tamar skipped straight to the aftermath, showing the damage without explaining the cause. This silence created a vacuum, and in the world of celebrity culture, a vacuum always gets filled with rumors, theories, and gossip. The stage was set for a viral storm, and everyone wanted to know the truth about what really happened to Tamar Braxton. After Tamar Braxton's shocking revelation, the situation escalated quickly when reports confirmed she had been hospitalized. For fans, this was both reassuring and alarming at the same time. Reassuring, because at least she was getting medical attention, but alarming because the severity of her injuries suggested this was no ordinary incident. Tamar herself described how the blood loss left her weak and unable to function, forcing her to seek immediate treatment. What caught the public's attention was the range of injuries she listed, not only missing teeth, but also a fractured nose and swelling that left her barely recognizable. These weren't the kind of wounds one could brush off with a quick visit to the emergency room. They required serious medical care. Hospital insiders whispered that her condition was concerning but stable, which only fueled the storm online. Fans flooded social media with messages of support, posting hashtags like #PrayForTamar and demanding transparency. Others weren't satisfied and started connecting dots, asking questions about whether this was an accident at home, a possible assault, or something even darker. Meanwhile, Tamar kept the details minimal, choosing to share fragments rather than a complete story. That decision left more room for speculation than answers. In today's media environment, silence isn't neutral, it's gasoline on the fire of gossip. And with Tamar already being a public figure who has battled personal challenges in the past, her hospitalization became more than a health crisis. It became the centerpiece of a mystery that the world couldn't stop dissecting. The story took a dramatic twist when Tamar Braxton openly pointed to another well-known name, Yandy Smith. For anyone unfamiliar, Yandy isn't just a background figure in the entertainment world. She's a reality TV personality, entrepreneur, and someone with a large social media presence of her own. So, when Tamar's accusations surfaced, this wasn't just a personal matter, it became a clash between two public figures with millions watching. Tamar hinted that Yandy was directly involved in the incident that left her battered and hospitalized. She didn't mince words when describing the injuries, and the way she dropped Yandy's name instantly turned the entire situation from a private crisis into a full-blown celebrity scandal. The internet thrives on conflict, and this was like pouring jet fuel onto an already raging fire. Supporters of Tamar immediately took her side, labeling Yandy as the aggressor, while Yandy's loyal fans rushed to defend her, demanding evidence. Overnight, social platforms became battlegrounds filled with hashtags, reaction videos, and heated debates. What makes this especially complicated is the history of both women in the public eye. Tamar has long been outspoken, someone who wears her emotions on her sleeve. Yandy, on the other hand, has cultivated an image of strength, resilience, and business savvy. For two strong personalities to collide in such a dramatic and violent way? It was both shocking and, for gossip culture, irresistible. At this point, the feud wasn't just about what happened. It became about reputation, credibility, and who the public believed. If there's one thing we know about modern scandals, it's this: they don't just live in real life, they explode online. The moment Tamar Braxton named Yandy Smith as the one responsible for her hospitalization, the internet lit up like wildfire. Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, every platform was instantly saturated with speculation, memes, and hashtags. Some fans rallied under hashtag #PrayForTamar, sharing messages of love and urging her to focus on recovery. Others, however, launched hashtag #TeamYandy, questioning Tamar's version of events and pointing out that no concrete video evidence had surfaced. This immediate division created a digital tug-of-war, with thousands of users passionately defending their favorite celebrity while tearing down the other. Influencers and gossip blogs wasted no time jumping into the chaos. Popular YouTubers dropped reaction videos within hours, analyzing Tamar's words frame by frame, while Instagram blogs recycled every rumor they could find to feed the frenzy. Suddenly, what began as a private fight spiraled into a full-blown cultural event. The speed was dizzying. One moment Tamar was in the hospital, the next moment her story was dissected by millions of strangers who weren't even there. Social media thrives on emotional extremes, and this story had it all: violence, betrayal, and celebrity drama. But beyond the clicks and the hashtags, a deeper issue started to surface. People began questioning how quickly the internet chooses sides, and how much damage is done when narratives are built on fragments of information rather than facts. Once the story gained traction online, traditional media outlets swooped in like hawks. Major entertainment news platforms such as TMZ, Page 6, and Entertainment Tonight began running headlines about Tamar Braxton's hospitalization, each one carefully phrased to maximize intrigue without risking a lawsuit. The phrasing was telling: reported fight, alleged altercation, sources claim. It was a masterclass in keeping the drama alive while protecting themselves legally. On the other side, publicists for both Tamar and Yandy scrambled to control the narrative. Tamar's team initially framed her as a victim recovering from a deeply traumatic incident. They emphasized her fragility, her bravery in speaking out, and her need for privacy. Yandy's camp, however, pushed a different angle, suggesting Tamar's account was exaggerated, fueled by personal tension, and lacking any real proof. This public statement war only heightened the tension, with fans dissecting every carefully chosen word. Talk shows quickly joined the conversation. Daytime programs debated the morality of celebrity friendships turning violent, while late-night hosts cracked jokes, reducing a serious hospitalization into a punchline. Meanwhile, podcasts and commentary channels treated the incident like a serialized drama, speculating endlessly about what really happened behind the scenes. This frenzy revealed just how symbiotic the relationship between celebrities and media has become. Stars rely on publicity to stay relevant, but when scandals erupt, that same publicity can feel like a wildfire, impossible to contain, spreading faster with every denial or clarification. If the media amplified the drama, fans turned it into a full-blown battlefield. Tamar Braxton's supporters flooded social media with hashtags like #PrayForTamar and #JusticeForTamar, painting her as the wronged friend who nearly lost her life to betrayal. For them, Yandy Smith instantly became the villain of the story, accused of jealousy, hidden agendas, and ruthless ambition. Emotional Twitter threads and TikTok edits dramatized Tamar's journey, framing her as a symbol of resilience against toxic relationships. But Yandy's loyal fanbase refused to stay silent. They countered with #StandWithYandy, arguing that Tamar was exaggerating and using her hospitalization to manipulate public sympathy. They highlighted Tamar's history of public feuds, suggesting this was just another example of her being too dramatic or too sensitive. Some even speculated that Tamar might have staged the narrative for publicity. This clash turned online communities into echo chambers. Instagram comment sections became war zones, YouTube live streams turned into heated debates, and Reddit threads filled with conspiracies about what truly went down. Influencers and gossip bloggers fueled the fire, often taking sides themselves, which only made fans more polarized. Interestingly, this division wasn't just about Tamar and Yandy, it exposed how celebrity culture mirrors politics. People weren't simply debating facts, they were aligning with identities, projecting personal experiences of loyalty, betrayal, and friendship drama onto the feud. In that sense, the fight became less about two celebrities and more about what audiences needed them to represent. The aftermath of the fight wasn't just personal, it had serious professional consequences. For Tamar Braxton, the hospitalization brought a wave of sympathy that translated into public visibility. TV networks and talk shows suddenly wanted to hear her side of the story. Her image shifted from reality show drama queen to survivor of betrayal, which surprisingly attracted a broader audience. This sympathy wave gave her new opportunities, from guest interviews to music collaborations. However, critics warned that leaning too heavily on victimhood might overshadow her artistry and trap her in a narrative she couldn't control. On the flip side, Yandy Smith faced damage control. As someone known for her savvy business mind and polished brand, being painted as the aggressor hurt her credibility. Sponsorships grew cautious, PR teams scrambled, and her reputation as a mentor and entrepreneur took a hit. But Yandy, resilient as ever, didn't retreat, she doubled down. She reframed the story, positioning herself as the misunderstood businesswoman and redirected focus onto her community work and entrepreneurial ventures. By shifting conversations back to her achievements, she attempted to dilute the drama's impact. What's fascinating is how both women turned scandal into strategy. Tamar leveraged vulnerability as power, while Yandy leaned on professionalism and resilience. In the unpredictable world of celebrity culture, this feud showed how even moments of chaos can become tools for reinvention, if handled correctly. Whether the long-term effects help or haunt them remains uncertain, but both proved they know how to survive the storm. If there's one thing we know about Hollywood drama, it doesn't just happen, it gets magnified. The media's role in the Tamar Braxton and Yandy Smith feud turned what might have been a private conflict into a full-blown public spectacle. Headlines weren't subtle. Instead of disagreement or heated exchange, tabloids opted for explosive language like brawl, hospitalized after brutal fight, and celebrity showdown. Each headline was designed not just to inform, but to provoke curiosity, outrage, and clicks. Entertainment outlets fed the cycle. Gossip blogs framed Tamar as the victim of betrayal, highlighting her emotional vulnerability, while others painted Yandy as a cold strategist who let business get in the way of loyalty. Even mainstream news outlets picked up the story, adding legitimacy to what was essentially a reality TV-level clash. Meanwhile, social media amplified everything. TikTok edits replayed the fight in slow motion with dramatic music, Twitter exploded with memes, and Instagram pages turned single quotes into viral posts. The result? The feud evolved into a kind of digital soap opera, with audiences following each update like it was the next episode of a binge-worthy series. The media didn't just report on the fight, it curated the narrative, choosing heroes, villains, and victims in a way that shaped how millions perceived the two women. In an age where perception often outweighs reality, the media didn't just cover the feud, it wrote the script that defined it. Once the Tamar and Yandy feud hit the public, fans didn't just watch, they chose sides. The internet quickly split into two camps. Tamar's supporters framed her as the underdog, someone who'd been pushed to her breaking point. They flooded comment sections with messages of love, posting things like "Protect Tamar at all costs" and "She deserves better." For them, this wasn't just about one fight, it was about a woman who had endured public heartbreaks, career struggles, and emotional battles, only to be disrespected by someone she once trusted. On the other side, Yandy's fans defended her as a professional handling her business. They argued Tamar's reaction was overly dramatic and that Yandy had done nothing wrong. "She's always been about her bag," one fan wrote, "and Tamar needs to stop making everything personal." To them, Yandy was simply standing firm, refusing to let emotions derail opportunities. Neutral voices, though fewer, emphasized how sad it was to see two talented black women tearing each other down when collaboration could have elevated them both. Still, in the world of social media, neutrality rarely gets attention. What got traction were the heated debates, the memes mocking Tamar's tears, and the edited clips painting Yandy as the villain. The public reaction turned the feud into a form of entertainment, where every new post was analyzed like a plot twist. Instead of empathy, fans treated it like reality TV, except this wasn't scripted. The aftermath of this feud didn't just affect emotions, it rippled into both Tamar and Yandy's professional worlds. For Tamar, who has long fought to rebuild her career after public struggles and reality TV drama, this fight added another layer of controversy. Some brands and producers saw her as unpredictable, worried about the baggage she might bring to projects. Yet, others argued the opposite: controversy equals attention, and Tamar's name trending again meant she was still relevant. In an industry that thrives on visibility, even negative press can spark new opportunities. Yandy, meanwhile, faced a different challenge. Known for her polished image as a businesswoman and reality star, being painted as the villain in this feud risked softening her reputation. Fans who had admired her hustle began questioning if she was too cutthroat. Still, Yandy's core strength, her business acumen, remained untouchable. For every critic, there was a supporter who reminded people that she consistently builds brands and finds ways to profit, regardless of the narrative. The music industry itself took note. Collaborators and producers became cautious, calculating whether associating with either woman would help or hurt their own brands. This is the double-edged sword of public feuds. They keep names in circulation but make partnerships risky. In many ways, the fight blurred personal and professional lines. Tamar and Yandy were no longer just individuals, they had become symbols in a larger conversation about image, loyalty, and survival in the entertainment world.